I think about this on a day-to-day basis, and I feel like most people don't, but it affects all of us. We never actually own anything. Like, even when you pay off your house, even when you pay off your property, you still have to pay property tax. And if you don't, the government is going to come take your house because it was never yours to begin with. And there is no living situation in which you are completely free from the system, and it's set up that way by design, so that we all focus on working and money, and we don't take a step back and realize that the system that we live in is completely backwards. And it's set up this way and has been set up this way by the people that run the world and have ran the world for centuries, so that we don't find love and let love and peace into our heart, because then we realize that God's real, and that's the last thing that they want.
The economy is definitely affecting the middle class. I live in a middle class neighborhood, maybe like a little above middle class, not quite like upper middle class or anything, but like the houses are pretty big, but not fancy. Normally this time of year, there's all sorts of projects going on, like people getting decks, people getting landscaping, all sorts of things, and I have not seen any of that so far this spring into summer. And I'm seeing, as I walk around, a lot of deferred maintenance, where normally people really take care of their houses in tip-top shape. I'm just seeing, like little things like gutters and doors that need to be replaced. No one's grass is super green. No one's watering their grass. Just not the upkeep I normally see in our neighborhood. It's clearly something people can't afford right now. And it's really kind of affecting the look of the neighborhood. And I'm not saying I'm any better. We have a fence that really needs replacing, but it's not happening this year. It is not happening. So it's just an interesting thing that I've noticed. And I'm sure you guys are noticing it too. Everything costs so much. So not only do people have less money in their pockets, but projects are just not something people can afford right now. And I'm seeing it everywhere.
I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I genuinely believe that a financial crisis is coming. And I have been hesitant to say that because I don't want to be alarmist. But I was talking to someone today and we're like, why wouldn't you say that? Like, if you believe that, the top economists in the world are saying the same thing. So I just want to make it abundantly clear that part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is not just to help you save money on taxes, but I genuinely believe that now is the time to put provision in place so that you and your family can be prepared for what's to come. I can't speak to what that's going to be. I don't know what that's going to look like. I cannot tell you the future, but what I do know is that there is a feeling in the atmosphere, and instead of just hiding our head and burying our heads in the sand, we got to get prepared and get ready. And part of that is using strategic tax planning to create cash flow so that you can invest in the things that are going to move you and your family forward.
I just got completely scammed. Got a call about an hour ago from someone claiming to be from fraud protection at my bank. And they said, listen, we suspect that people are trying to illegally withdraw money from your account. This person gave me a name. They gave me a badge ID. They seem to know so much about me, about my bank account. And then they said, listen, we suspect that there is significant fraud activity at the bank branch where you bank. And what we need you to do right now, we went through all the accounts, and we actually had some suspicious activity recently in my daughter's account. And she told me, listen, we think that there are two fraudsters at the bank. They go by these aliases. She gave me the names. And then she said, what we need you to do in order to intercept these fraudsters is to go into the bank and withdraw everything from your bank account, which wasn't that much money at this point, and take it with you so you have it in cash, and that'll trigger the fraudsters into action. That's how we'll be able to catch them. I thought, okay, that's a little weird. Why would you use a regular citizen for something that seems like a law enforcement issue? But I said, okay. And I went in there and she said, but you can't tell anybody at the bank that this is happening because they might be in on it. And here's a lady walking by who I think might have experienced something similar. So I go to the teller and I start doing the thing, and I'm like, there is no way that this is possibly real, that anybody would use a regular civilian for a sting operation at a bank. And I am a journalist and I've done scam stories so many times throughout my career, and I came so close to falling for it. Now, the most scary and the dangerous part is that I would have been walking around with thousands of dollars in cash at a place known to those scammers because they directed me to my local bank branch, and I was told that this happens all the time, and then they either rob your car or they rob you. So a very scary experience happening to someone who thinks, at least, that they are savvy. I'm not as savvy as I think I am, and that should be a lesson, I guess, to all of us. You gotta be so careful, and some of these scams are incredibly sophisticated with people who clearly know what they are talking about and speak like they are in the profession. I'm just blown away by how good that person was. I can't get over this. Anyway, I just hope this doesn't happen to you, but beware. These people are out there and they are good.
Yes, the Apple iPhone that we all use is going to probably, or most likely, go to leasing, period. You won't be able to buy the phone. Or if you do buy the phone, it's going to be some astronomical price. They want more control, Apple, like the government has on your land. Same thing. You think you own your house, but the government owns your property that your house sits on. Same thing with Apple. They're going to own phones. They're not going to sell them. So, matter of fact, the key here is to save your old phones, because pretty soon they may be valuable if they keep updating them. More than likely, they're going to cut that off, all that updating after a certain year. And soon to be probably every 2 years, they're going to cut off updates. So Apple wants to own you, own your phone forever. You're not going to be the owner of your phone, and you must turn it back in for trade.
What's up, America? Walmart digital price tag update. So Walmart has announced by the end of this year, all 4,500 Walmarts will be shifting over to digital price tags. And that also means that Walmart will be involved in surge pricing, and more stores are starting to do this. So if you're unaware, digital price tags allow Walmart and other companies to slightly raise and lower prices depending on when you're shopping. When there's a lot of people in the store, they will slightly raise prices, and when there's nobody there, they'll drop them back to normal again. This is being done in order to maximize profit, because even a couple of cents here and there across the board with millions of people means lots of money. But with these digital price tags, they've also announced facial recognition technology to watch your face, and also emotional recognition technology. Yes, that is correct. Emotional recognition technology. So for instance, if you go down the cereal aisle and your kids start jumping and are super happy about a specific type of cereal, Walmart will see their
We now live in a world where it is cheaper to go and rent a vehicle for your delivery service or your Ubering service, or whatever the case may be for the day or for the hours. It is cheaper to do that than to own a vehicle and pay for a vehicle. I'm up here picking up my rental vehicle, and there are swarms of people who are just here to pick up Uber Eats vehicles and Uber vehicles. They solely rent them to Uber people and to pick people's food up.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from the time you're about 5-6 years old to the time you get to be about 18 years old, you spend in the public education system, okay? Some people went to private school, yeah, okay? Tell me how much better your education turned out than mine. It didn't turn out any better. I would know. I went to private high school. My education, I think, was actually worse than those who went to public school. And I went to private school. $60,000 a year private school. Okay, thank you. But you spend all of this time learning and going through the motions every single year of your childhood. You learn what the primary colors are. You learn how to add, subtract, multiply, divide. You learn what fractions are. When you get a little older, you learn the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Then you get a little older, you learn what the Emancipation Proclamation was. And then finally, you graduate supposed to be understanding calculus. And you have all of this shit just floating around, taking up space in your head. Okay? All of this basically useless information. Never once in my life have I needed to divide a fraction. I've never had to divide a fraction. I've been an adult for a while now, for a few years. I've been an adult. I've never had to divide a fraction. And I worked in mathematics. I worked at a job that required me to use math every single day. And I never once divided a fraction. But anyway, the final 4 years of your time in the American education system, you are pushed and pushed and pushed. That the only thing that matters at the end of this is college. Nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is you going off to a 4-year school and getting a degree. So for 4 years of your life, everyone is putting pressure on you that you have to go to college. Because if you don't go to college, you're going to turn out to be nothing. Nothing. So what do? Throughout those 4 years, you spend an immense amount of time trying to figure out what it is that you want to do. You're 16 years old. You're trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. Until you're fucking 65. At 16 years old, between 16 and 18, you have to figure out what you want to do until you turn 65. But in some states, at 16 years old, you can't even drive. But you have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. At 16 years old. Okay. So, when you're 16, between 16 and 18, you make the choice. Okay, you figure out what you want to do in life. You pick out some colleges that have good programs for that type of field. You go through the motions, you apply to colleges, you get rejected, you get accepted, you get waitlisted, whatever. You settle on a college. Your parents put you through school, whether it be your parents paid for it, they helped you pay for it, you had to get student loans, you did it all by yourself, whatever. Doesn't matter. Somehow, one way or another, you make it through 4 years of college and you get out and you have a degree. Okay? So finally, this is the first time in your life, when you graduate college, is the first time in life where you actually get to be a real adult. Because you're no longer under the supervision of anyone else anymore. Standard. Okay? Sure, some people have to move back with their parents, but we'll get to that. You get out and you're finally an adult, right? You're in your early 20s and you're like, yeah, I've been through so much. I can do it. I can do life. I can do everything. So now it's time to get a job with that fancy 4-year degree that you just got. You're applying to jobs. One after another. Job. You either hear back nothing or you get rejected. But you probably hear back nothing. You take interview after interview after interview. You get nothing. You don't get a call back. You don't get anything. So now you're a year out of college after having spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this 4-year degree that everyone told you, if you don't get that 4-year degree, you're going to turn out to be nothing. You're going to turn out to be a homeless on the side of the road if you don't get that 4-year degree. But now you're a year out of having that 4-year degree and you still don't have a job. You might live with your parents. You might be working minimum wage jobs just to be able to afford the place that you live. You are forced into the cycle that everyone else has been through for so long. And then you get to be an adult. And you realize you don't know anything about being an adult. You don't know how to do your taxes. Some of us don't know how to make doctor's appointments. You don't know how to get health insurance. You don't know how to do those things. Some people may want to go out and buy a car and they go into a car dealership and they're talking to you all these fancy number terms and you have no idea what the words mean. That is the reality for many people out there. Because you are taught in school bullshit. You're taught absolutely useless fucking information. Once again, I've never had to divide a fraction a day in my life. But for some reason, you're pushed through school having to learn all of this math and science and all of this other stuff that you're never going to use again. Never going to use again. But yet, people still can't write checks, balance a checkbook, count paper money. We don't know how to do that. But yet, we're forced to go through school from ages 5 to 18, and then from 18 until you're about 22, you're forced to go through 4 years of college. And then when you get out, you're thrown out into the world with absolutely no idea how to get through it.
It was today when I found out that airlines price your ticket based off of the data they receive from your IP address. If you think I'm wrong, look up, before you buy that plane ticket, look up what your phone or what your computer at home gives you, and then save that price. Go to the local library and order the same ticket from the library. I bet you it'll be cheaper for the exact same ticket. Let me know if this works for you.
So is it safe to say that eating at a fast food restaurant at an airport in the United States is no longer affordable? And why do I say that? Because one man who was catching a red eye out of LAX stopped in at Burger King in the airport, wanted to grab a couple of burgers. And boy, was he in for a surprise when he saw how much the combo meals were. Have a look at this video for yourself.
So I'm catching a red eye, and can you believe it? This is a rich Burger King. Look at these prices, bro. Look at these prices. What are you talking about? What's going on at LAX? So here's the actual total: $65.
Just take a look at the combo prices at LAX's Burger King location. $22.49 for a Whopper. A double Whopper, $26. Whopper Jr., $18. And a Royal Crispy Chicken, $23. And take a look at the receipt right there. $65.81 for 2 combo meals at LAX. So once again, here the bottom line is, you plan on traveling anywhere, especially out of a US airport. Eat before you go. Pick up a snack outside or bring something with you from home, unless you plan on spending close to $100 for 2 combo meals at a Burger King, especially in LAX.
So this lady did a video. She was so upset that she was crying on camera. And she was upset and crying because she could not wait to retire from her job so she can get her 401k. And she said she'd been on the job for 25 years and invested a lot of her paycheck into her 401k. So she was banking on getting the full amount. She said when she cashed out her 401k, because she wanted to cash it out and the whole thing out and put it into another investment account. She said when she cashed her 401k out, it was way less than what she anticipated. She was crying. She said, "This is my money, and I worked too hard for this money, and they just gonna take my money like that?" She was like, how do they expect for people to live? Maybe she was gonna take her 401k and put it into a annuity. I don't know. But she was like, that is so unfair. What end up happening is that when you finally take your 401k out, if it's a traditional IRA, then you have to pay taxes on it. Just because you're saving it in a retirement account, if it's a traditional IRA, they do not take taxes out up front. So that means that when you finally cash it out, that's when you got to pay. Putting the money into a 401k, that 401k is earning money, and the money you put in it was from earned income. So typically it's going to take a percent, but whatever your tax percentage is, they automatically going to take it right out of that 401k and treat it like it's a paycheck. So since they're treating it like it's a paycheck, you're going to end up paying taxes on it. And the taxes, depending on how large it is going to depend on how much you're going to end up owing. She did not expect that. She thought that when she finally cashed her 401k out, she thought she was going to get the whole thing. And to see how much was taken out, she was in tears. I feel her on that, And she was like, I worked too hard, and how they just going to take my money? You got to realize something. They greedy. I feel like, yeah, you take taxes out of her paycheck, but when it comes to retirement, let people have their money. Anything, if you've been taking money out of people's paycheck, they've been taking money out of her paycheck for 25 years for taxes. Let her have her retirement. How large that 401k is, boy. They gonna find out. Think people work hard and they work for so many years until they get in their 60s. Let them have their retirement. Because we all know once you retire from your job, you don't have that income anymore. All you have is your Social Security and whatever your retirement, your 401k is, whatever your IRA is. That's all you have. So for for them to come in and take so much of your 401k, I just think it's unfair. Let people retire and have the money that they earned, that they saved and earned for years, just so they can have something to retire on. They too greedy. They won't do it.
I cannot be the only person that feels like every single restaurant that I used to enjoy, I do not like anymore. This is my Jimmy John's sub. Look at this. It used to have more turkey, I think. Like, I don't remember ever being so little. I get the Lulu, which is number 16. I get it with no mayo. I added hot peppers. It looks fine. There's no mayo on it. I always check. I do not like mayo, which is going to sound stupid because I really like ranch. So I got the side of the kickin' ranch, which is delicious. And then some barbecue chips and a Diet Coke. This used to be better. And it's disappointing for $17, just under $17, $16.09. I guess closer to $16, whatever. That I don't really like it that much. Sandwich. I don't feel like the bread's not as big. It's not bad. The hot peppers make the sandwich and the kickin' ranch. Kickin' ranch used to be more white. Okay, bye.
Alright, so this makes no sense to me at all. So I'm at Kroger and they have this meat that's on sale. It's ground beef. Well, supposedly it's supposed to be ground beef for $3.60. It says sale price $1.80 a pound. $3.60 is the price. So that would mean that there's 2 pounds of meat, right? Like it should be 2 pounds. $1.80 times 2 is $3.60. So in theory this should be 2 pounds, right? Well, I have a scale right here and well, make sure nothing's on it. So I have a scale right here. It's on 0. We'll put that in there. There's nothing else in there. It doesn't even hit 2 pounds. It doesn't even hit a pound. Like, what is that all about? We'll move down to another scale because there's someone over there and I don't like being around people. So this one here, it is on 0. We can calibrate if we need to. Shouldn't have to do that, but we can do that if we need to. But it appears to be, yes, on 0. So we'll take one of these, no cuts or anything. And add it on there, nothing in there. Well, there's a sticker in there. I don't know what that's all about, but put that in there. And see, under a pound. Under a pound. But in theory, this is supposed to be 2 pounds. At $1.80 a pound, times 2, it's supposed to be 2 pounds for $3.60. We'll take the next one and do the same thing. It's $3.60, $1.80 a pound. No camera cuts, put it on there, nothing in it. And yeah, less than a pound. In fact, both of these together would be still less than 2 pounds. Like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is crazy. These two right here that are claiming to be $1.80 a pound, times that by 2 is $3.60. It's supposed to be 2 pounds, and it's not even that. In fact, both of these together aren't even 2 pounds. Make that make sense, Kroger, because that's a scam. And listen, I love Kroger, I love the big K-pop, I love the sales, but come on, you cannot be doing the customers dirty like that. Pretty sure that's like super illegal too, because there's like a business out there that's like the weight and scale guidelines, like that's super illegal.
Hey, my Walmart besties, and yes, I'm getting ready to talk about a price increase, because when I seen this price increase, I was like, my eyes got to be deceiving me, right? So I was like, ain't no way in the hell these chips cost 66 cents a bag now. So you know, when we was growing up, they was for $1. Okay, that was many years ago, right? Because I'm Gen X. But to see these chips be 66 cents each at Walmart, or if you're not at Walmart, you might pay 79 cents for this small bag of chips. Frito-Lay, y'all to bump y'all heads. But I'm going to tell y'all why Frito-Lay did this right quick. So when I was a shopper, I noticed when chips started going up real high, a lot of people was buying like 10 of these. So 10 of these will cost like $4.80, right? So they was really buying a lot of these, and they had stopped buying the chips in the box. Well, the chips in the box, you're going to spend at least $10. So I think that kind of cut into their profit margin as far as sales per customer. So Frito-Lay said, okay, we got something for you guys. If y'all going to buy these chips, y'all going to buy them at 79 cents each. And that's going to get us almost back up to $8 if you're not at 66 cents each. So I think it was all about them getting their money and, trying to stop you guys from buying like 10 for $4.80 and going back to the box chips. But I tell you what, I think this price is ridiculous, and I'm never buying these chips. Bye, guys.
A couple months ago, I found out about this thing called surveillance pricing, where these companies and more charge you a different price and me a different price and everybody a different price based on who they think you are. It's like price tags are dead now. And I wanted to put it to the test. So I called my brother, my mom, and my best friend. Go to Target and buy Spam.
Okay.
How much is it?
$4.99.
My price is $4.59.
That's bullshit, dude.
We're gonna order the exact same ride.
Okay.
Scheduled for tomorrow at noon.
From where?
Do it from Target Field to the airport.
Here's my prices. $36.94 for the UberX.
Mine's $52.95. That is a 30% difference in price.
And for what? No difference.
Let's book the exact same hotel on the exact same night.
What's the name?
La Quinta Hotel, Denver.
Okay, $122.50.
$122.
Yeah.
My price is $84.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, it kind of sucks. 76% of people say that they don't want surveillance pricing. I don't know who the 24% are, but how much does spam cost for you?
Okay guys, so I was just sitting here, minding my business, texting, whatever, playing around, and I see out the corner of my eye, my Alexa doing the circle thing like it's listening. And I kept saying, Alexa, 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 it would not answer me. The light cut off and I said, Alexa, still wouldn't answer me. I got right up on it and I said, Alexa, and it answered, and I said, what were you just doing? And it said, I was just listening for you. This is the conversation we had afterwards. I was not talking to you and I saw the light swirling out the corner of my eye, and when I just asked you about it, you said you were just listening to me.
Oh, I see what you mean now. That light swirling is actually just the ambient indicator showing I'm ready to help. I wasn't actually listening or processing anything without your wake word.
How often do you do that, unprompted?
Actually, I don't do that unprompted at all. That light's just my standby indicator. I'm not actually listening or processing anything without your wake word.
Then why was the light on when I didn't say anything?
That glow you saw is just the standby ring letting you know I'm ready to jump in. It doesn't mean I was listening or doing anything without you saying the wake word.
But you just said you were listening.
You're right, I misspoke earlier. I wasn't actually listening without you saying the wake word. That glow is just my standby indicator.
Okay, please don't do that.
I won't. I'm not actually listening without your wake word. That light's just my standby indicator.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, no more Alexa in my house. It just lied. I caught it in a lie. It was listening.
Well, here we go again. I'm in Hobby Lobby, and my sister wanted to get some yarn, and 2 balls of yarn or something or other, and it came to $9.98. $9.98. And the lady said to me, well, if you give me $10, I will, you're going to lose 2 cents. I'm like, Really? So I had change, and what I did was I only had 97 cents worth of change, and I was going to give her $9.97, but she said it wouldn't take it. It's not her fault. She's just a cashier. It's the company's fault. And these companies got to start rounding up in the customer's favor. So what I did, left it on the counter and walked out. If they don't want to eat a penny, I don't want to eat 2 pennies. So it's their loss, because now they just lost a $9, $10 sale. Hey, your business has got to learn. We ain't gonna stand for this. Stop taking more than what you earn. Follow me.
This is a rant. So I get home today from a beautiful day, and I get this in the mail from Social Security. They went ahead and signed me up for Medicare Part B. I'm turning 65 next month, but I don't need Part B because my husband is fully employed. So as of August 1st, they're going to be taking $284.10 out of my Social Security benefit. So we just called about it, and they said, oh yeah, they do this all the time. They just randomly sign you up for Social Security Part B, and then they take your money. And so that now I had to call, and now I have to fill out a form that's going to take 10 days to get to me. And then I may or may not be able to get an appointment with the Social Security office. And I have to literally fill out a form to cancel something I never signed up for.
Can somebody, for the love of God, please tell me what is going on with the Reese's Cups? Like, this was my favorite candy. I wanted to get this in the Halloween bucket. You know, this is what I wanted to see. And I've been eating this. Something's different here. That peanut butter's not even right. It's not the same. That peanut butter just don't look right. I don't know what's going on with the Reese's Cups, but let me know in the comments.
Have you ever moved and tried to do a change of address at the post office? Well, here in Indiana where I live, they said, I'm sorry, your driver's license does not match your new address, so we can't give you a change of address. I said, okay, this was last week. I go to the BMV, and they said, I'm sorry, we can't change the address on your ID until you have 3 pieces of mail. Now, how in the actual F am I supposed to already have 3 pieces of mail? So I digress. Here we are, Tuesday morning, because they were closed yesterday, and I'm telling you what, I'm already in a shit mood. I get there, I got my 3 pieces of mail. She tells me, is this going to be on credit, debit, or cash? I said, well, how much is it? $10. Okay, well, I don't carry cash, so it'll be on a debit card. That'll be $10.59. I said, I thought you just said $10. Well, there's a 59-cent fee for using a debit card. I said, that's illegal. Look right here where it says it's not legal. So I Googled it, and she said, guess what? We're the state. We can do whatever the fuck we want. This is why people hate going to the BMV, hate dealing with the post office, and hate dealing with state organizations.
It tripped me out that it's illegal for homeless people to ask for money or begging for money, but it's not illegal for stores on their registers to ask for tips or donations.
I'm not the type to complain about much, but I just wanted to point something out. I went to Firestone and Pelham the other day to get an alignment done on my car. Now, first off, I'm going to say, I work on my own car, but certain things like an alignment, you have to go to a shop to get there. So my car's out there in the bay, and I'm already wondering why the mechanic has my hood pop. He's under my hood looking at stuff, and I'm thinking in my head, why are you under the hood of my car for an alignment? So the service advisor comes back in there, and he was like, I want to go over a few things with you. He was like, you're going to need a coolant flush, a brake fluid flush, spark plugs, an oil change, a cabin air filter, and an engine air filter. And I looked up at him. I said, sir, I just put a brand new radiator on my car 3 months ago. I put brand new spark plugs and ignition coil packs about 2 months ago. I just did an oil change about 4 days ago, and that's a brand new cabin air filter and engine air filter. And he didn't like the fact that I called him out on that in front of other customers. So he says, oh, well, we just go by the computer, man. The computer goes by the manufacturer recommended, so however many miles are on your car, the computer doesn't know that you just put spark plugs on your car, just change the oil. And I'm like, well, why are you coming out here telling people they need that? Imagine how many women and people that don't know anything about cars would have paid that. And I said, why are you even looking under the hood of my car? And he said, oh, it's just company policy, man. We have to check those things. We can't not do that.
Guys, I'm at Lowe's. I want to show you something. That big ass gazebo right there. $498. Check this out. I don't actually think that's a bad price. But I want to show you what I do think's a bad price. Look at this. 42-inch drum fan, $489. $500 for that piece of shit. Really, Lowe's? Really? Who in the hell is going to give $500 for a damn fan? That ain't half of it. They got a whole damn pallet of them back here like, hey, anybody can afford $500 for a damn fan. Look at this. Am I just that damn broke that I think $500 for a fan is just out of this fucking world? Let me know. Come on.
Dashers, listen up. DoorDash just come up with the DoorDash Air. So we're basically done. The minute they launch that shit, we are done as Dashers, bro. They're gonna do it a lot quicker than us. Make sure you save money.
Hey Walmart, what's the point of buying your blue reusable bags, the ones that you keep at the checkout, if every time we go into the store with the bags, and we try to leave with the bags, we get stopped constantly being told we didn't buy the bags because the bags aren't on the receipts. They're not on the receipts because I bought the bags months ago. What's the point of buying the bags if I'm going to be harassed and being told I didn't buy the bags? Please let me know. Because I also use them at Aldi's too because they don't give you bags there. And I hate bringing home plastic bags. Every time I make a trip, I could just use the reusable bags.
Whole Foods, you have lost your ever flipping mind. I go in to drop off an Amazon package and I'm like, you know what? All I have at work is steak. I'm going to get a little bit of macaroni and cheese and some mashed potatoes to go along with it. 1 scoop of mac and cheese and 1 scoop of mashed potatoes in their new little small little to-go boxes. I go up there, I scan my membership thing, I scan it, put the thing on the scale. $12 for a scoop of mac and cheese and a scoop of mashed potatoes with my 99-cent drink. Y'all have lost your damn mind.
Americans are starting to see the change. And a lot of people just want their country back. People starting to see that it's getting worse. People are losing hope. People are mentally burnt out because the cost of living, you can't keep up. The economy is falling apart. People living from paycheck to paycheck. And people just want the country to be united again. And people can see what's happening. And they're preparing better. Because people really lost hope. So let me know how y'all feel about this. Share it in the comments. What's y'all thoughts? And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.